Well, welcome back to Krown's Crypto Cave, another faceless little Sunday morning, but do want to be wishing you well on this nice little Sunday morning. A very overcast, but getting light all fucking day here in Helsinki, Finland. The sun does not set, in case you're not aware. Like, literally the sun is up at all hours of the day. It is something that I've never seen before in my life. It just really messes with the mind. Anyways, of course, because it is a Sunday, we're going to be doing a little bit more long-term type analysis, and especially because Bitcoin's kind of been, you know, in the lower time frames, not all that active. But with that said, there actually are a few ideas probably staring us in the face in the next, I'd say, in the next day or two, I'd say. And with all that, without further ado, want to be wishing you the best, the happiest of the happiest, and let's get into the live stream at good old analysis on the good old magic internet money. And there it is, Bitcoin in all of her glory on the daily. Once again, it's like she put this over to Bitstamp. As you can see, the daily slumping down a little bit yesterday, and this offers up a very easy way to actually just be looking at this. And this is, you know, there's nothing crazy about what I'm about to tell you right here. But if you are looking for the next easy trade, it's quite literally this. Whichever way that we take out that last doji dildo to the upside or the downside, probably do have a nice $200 to $300 trade on top of that. So if you to get out to the upside, which would be somewhere around like 81.50, I think it was yesterday, the NSI would be looking for and move all the way up, probably into the 8500-ish region. By the same token, if we do take out the downside of it, which is about 70, it's actually 7777 repeating. And then I'd be looking for a move back down to the low side of our current range at around 7600 to maybe even 7550. But overall, you know, very deductive trading right here. Nothing too crazy. We can look at all the lower time frames and dissect the oscillators, do some mental masturbation. But of course, you know, if you want to make it easy, then this is what I'd be looking at. But more importantly, for myself, and of course, this is not financial advice, I'm not a financial advisor, I would actually just be waiting for CMEs to open up later tonight before any sort of real trading activity. If spot is trading below where CMEs closed on Friday, which CMEs closed at 79.35 right over here, I probably will be looking to be a seller. And if spot is trading above where CMEs closed, then I'll probably be looking to be a buyer on that gap fill. But for now, you know, the gaps have become a fucking meme in this market, and just something that people talk about ad nauseum with, which I think that very few people actually understand. I always get this question, why do gaps have to be filled? It's not that they have to be filled, but the market likes to find out and make sure that everyone's on the same page. So when you have days of no trading action, the market likes to come back, test those areas, make sure that everyone's on the same page. Do we still want to buy this area? Do we still want to sell this area? And then the market, once it can test itself, confirm itself, and have that certainty, then it's ready to move onwards in that, you know, typically in that same direction. At least for a little bit, at least for a scalp. That's kind of like the backwards way of explaining it, but a good enough working definition for what we're looking at right here. Anyways, they closed at 79.35 on Friday, and they will open up later tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on today, Sunday, unless it's an early morning late night on Saturday for those in the Western Hemisphere. So do keep that in mind. Definitely do keep that in mind, as currently spot is trading below, but a lot more crazier things have happened than about a $35 run in the span of almost 14 or 15 hours, or however long we have until the daily dodo close, again at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So again, keep your eyes on that. At least that's what I'm gonna be watching. That's probably gonna be my next actual trade. For full transparency, I am basically still just holding on to this position right over here. Again, I really don't like to put on like active positions during the weekends, but what I do like to do is I'll trade some options. You guys have been watching this position just slowly but surely go up, and this is a very small. This is 20 contracts right here. This is 20 contracts of like a very far out of the money strike at the 8,500 level, and just slowly but surely the P&L just goes up, you know, and that's, you know, that's just lovely options. Anyways, that reminds me that I forgot to talk about. I do have all of the programs on sale for today, for the rest of the day. I wanted to open that up because the last couple days I haven't been too responsive on Discord or via email, just because I've been so busy myself dealing with residence permits and whatnot. So I do apologize about that. I do apologize to everyone who I took a little bit of time getting back to, but I believe I've gotten back to everyone now, so everything should be all well and good. And again, you know, if you felt like you missed a sale, nope, all good, man. I can keep it open till tonight. I have the thing set to, I believe, tonight, and it's still the same code. It's 20K. Let me just pull it up right here, and that's applicable to any payment plan. Even the payment plans that go all the way up to 8 or even 10 months in some cases. Of course, I should explain just very, very briefly. I don't want to bore you with this too much longer. But the technical analysis program, that is a 35-hour plus long program that's all encompassing with not just technical analysis, but also position management, profit taking, risk management, understanding underlying market dynamics, and then access to, well, of course, the members Discord channel, and then of course access to some proprietary indicators that I use. Then the options program is like that, another 35-hour plus long program, but with specific attention to options only. So what we're just looking at on derivative. If you want to learn how to do that, or I mean that's you're gonna learn how to do much more in that program than just fucking sell calls. But overall, that would be the program for that. And then of course the Joule indicators is quite literally just access to the Joule indicators, all the proprietary indicators that I have. It's not a 35-hour plus long program. It's a little bit more instant gratification, but I always do want to say, hey, if you are considering that, please do not treat it as a magic pill. If you are not profitable, if you don't already have good risk management and position management, actually, then I'd say it only takes one time for you to misinterpret a signal or for you to get perhaps a bad signal. I mean, of course, it's not going to be 100% perfect with that one, and then it's account gone, right? Well, maybe not account gone, but you know what I'm saying. It only takes one trade to really fuck things up. So again, with all those programs, they are typically designed for people who want to do this in a very hardcore fashion, as a living typically. And again, it's just not going to be applicable to most people. So take advantage of the free content first. I have no interest in selling something to people that don't need it. This is not like my main line of work. My main line of work is trading. So again, it's more important to me to actually get it right. So if you are considering it, just reach out to me. I'm happy to answer any questions. That's why, I wanted to extend this period a little bit, just because I felt like people were asking a lot of questions, and I wanted to make sure that, I don't want you to feel rushed or anything like that, because you're going to be in a silly, you're not going to be thinking straight if you're feeling rushed. And it's better to deal with it now than later. So again, I'll leave that there. Let's get back on into the magic internet money analysis and Bitcoin on the lower time frames. Let's do it. Again, for the downside, if you also want to make it easy, I'd be using the 4-hour 200 simple and 200 exponential. We have not broken these officially. We have not broken these officially since middle of February, early February, all the way down around here, which was basically when Bitcoin turned around. It had this massive girthy green dildo party right over here, was caressed by them, tested it, tested a few times on the way up. Those have always been buys. So, the trend is your friend and telling you that trend. Now, I do think that the trend is giving you some warning signals for sure here. But if you want to make things easy, just as we spoke about with looking at the daily, the second that we actually see a breakage, a full-on closure, and especially of an open and close below this level, which the white 200 simple is all the way up 77.50 now. It's coming up really, really rapid. Then yes, I would be looking for a move back down to the lower 7,000s, probably 71 to 7,200. So we are talking about pretty about a 10% move here, a little bit more than a 10% move, which is significant. So again, it would take a little bit of patience, a little bit of waiting, but I would be looking for that trade. Of course, by the same token, like we just said at the beginning of this, of this video, if we do work our way back up above 81.30, even just ticking above there, I think you could be a little more aggressive with this one. Bitcoin likely does make its way back up to 8,600 if that were to happen. For right now, though, it does look like there's a little bit more pressure to the downside on me, but we've already got all the easy trades, right? Yesterday we were looking, or sorry, 2 days ago we were looking at the trade to 81.50. We already got that. Sorry, let's actually put this in here. Just testing the top of the blue box territory. I haven't changed this in ages, and technically that goes all the way up to 82.50, but it's 81.50 to 82.50 is how I have it. We tested that, then now we come down and test some supports. It would Bitcoin can still come back down to the 7,700-ish region, still not break anything. We do have this rising trend line here, to be fair. So I really hesitate from making a big directional decision within this area. This is not really the area to be doing it. And overall, I really, while this would be a nice short trade, if we actually do initiate the downside, remember it needs to actually break that 200 simple on the 4-hour, and then yes, we can talk about a 10 to 12% move down to the low 7,000s. then yes, there's plenty of edge on that trade is what I'm trying to say. But I'm actually looking to be a buyer of that bottom. Is going to be the next real big trade. Actually, the next real big trade is really just buying the next massive dip, as I do believe that Bitcoin's bottomed out. The question is, does the dip take us to which critical level? Does it take us to, let's actually go to the 3-day for this. Does it take us to lower 7,000s? And I'm just going to colloquially refer to that as like 71 or 7,200. Possible, but with the way that these last couple of wicks are situated, I think it does kind of diminish the case for that. Does it take us all the way down to 5,800 to 6,100 perhaps as well? Another potential area. And if that area does fail, then yes, we can talk about 4,200, 4,300, of course. So one before the other. And right now, will I be a buyer at 7,100 to 7,200? Yes, I will. Of course, I will. That's just it's just the way that I play out my strategy. If it once we see the bounce, once we see the actual reaction, then we can judge. Okay, was this the dip to be bought, or was this likely going to turn into continuation and we go lower, and then we just aim our cannons lower once again, and it takes another couple weeks to play out. It's good to keep an open mind right here. Don't want to be committed to one side. Want to be agnostic as we come to these ranges. Bitcoin basically just went straight up for the last 4 or 5 months. Typically going to spend more than a week correcting itself off of something like that, a very aggressive run like that. But for right now, we can see on the 3-day total time frame that oscillators are pointed down. This is a little bit more damning, and I do believe that we get another tick on this. Yeah, we just got another tick on this last night at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So these 3-day Stokes are coming down quite aggressively now. They will extremely likely break the critical zone on the next tick. And as you can see before, just in the history of Bitcoin, each and every time that it kind of gets around this area, that's where the actual downside momentum really does begin. I mean, calling your top at 20,000, calling your top at 10,000 in May, calling your top at 84 in August. And then all these tops during 2017 as well, 20,000. Then we got this guy right over here at 5,000. Wow, that's so much farther away. And then this guy right over here at 3,000. But all pretty damn big corrections. On top of that, we do have the 3-day jewel, which is going to actually be coming into support relatively soon. The next tick, it will hit support, so I would be looking for a bounce on the next tick. But does that imply some further downside first? Perhaps. We do still have some bearish divergence on this baby as well. If we bring this off, come on, there we go. 3-day RSI showing some bearish divergence. We're well below the exponential on this baby. Again, it does make me, from the higher time frame perspective, consider that we do have some actual downside here. 2-day, same thing, just caught below the red 10 simple. And of course, we actually have seen continuation below this guy as stated before, but really not seeing price action fall through all that much, which, would be a more positive signal, to be fair. We did have bearish divergence on the 2-day as well, but that's mostly played out, I'd say, between this point and this point, coming all the way down to the 21. I'd say that's the easy form of getting it, and that's already played out. So again, Bitcoin, it's, while we can talk about all these higher time frames and some warning signals in them, I really would not be considering any sort of major downside trades until we see the white 200 simple or 200 exponential, whichever one happens first, break on the 4-hour total time frame. Well, it's it's obviously going to be the white 200 simple, but my point is, it doesn't matter how bearish things look right here. I would not front run that. If you front run this, you run the risk of, well, doing the same thing that we've been doing for the last 4 or 5 months, where Bitcoin just comes back down, tests it for a second, and then rallies back up. So again, extremely important here. If we break this area, then yes, we probably do have some good downside. Like I said, 7,100 to 7,200. Really just basing this off of this next target off of the white 200 simple on the 3-day total time frame, which is very important for long-term trend identification for Bitcoin, as you do see going all the way back on over here during 2014, 2015. Lost it bad, regained it good. So it gives you a general idea of where we are in the overall market phase. You do see that Bitcoin actually, after it broke it, come back down and retest it right over here. Well, is that maybe a similar thing that we're going to get over here? Perhaps. We do see Bitcoin already came, broke it, tested it, popped back up, and then do you consider this a retest? Perhaps. Perhaps. I mean, when we're looking at this a year later, it will look, that would kind of be considered a test, I suppose. So again, I do want to be agnostic within this region. I do think that there are signals pointing downwards, but I'd say the biggest counter signal saying that we could be wrong on that is Litecoin. Litecoin looks very good. Litecoin looks very bullish, and I would I do think that Litecoin is actually getting ready for probably making new highs from here, actually. Looking at the daily, we do see daily Stokes crossing back up, and there's going to be a trend line forming here, most likely. Not only that, we do see price action very constructive, very, very constructive. I mean, Litecoin's, can Litecoin lead this market out? It can. It has in the past, and we see all the majors taking turns holding the reins. You know, we have Bcash, we have Litecoin Cash, we have Tron Cash, we have Ripple Cash, we have what are the other big ones? Ethereum Cash, and then of course Bitcoin, the regular one, Cash. and all those different ones, all the ones in like the top 10 or top 5, whatever it is, take turns, right? And also EOS, of course. So is Litecoin going to take the reins once again and lead the market to the upside? It's very possible here. And like I said, I'm bullish on Litecoin here. Bitcoin, like we said, I can't be bearish till we actually break that 4-hour 200. But Litecoin, I'm bullish on. We actually had a perfect retest of the area that we spoke about yesterday. Back down to 114, nice little ledge right here. I'd be bullish on this one as long as we maintain above 115 spot 3 pivot. That looks fine to me, man. That looks fine to me. Looking at 4-hour Stokes, we do see 4-hour Stokes coming down, so that would be a counterpoint to what I'm saying. But all higher time frames look good. Even if it came back down to 111 and a quarter, I'd probably be a buyer there. I'd maintain a bullish stance on this one as long as this one's above all major moving averages. I can never be bearish on something that looks like this. If we broke back down below, maybe below 111, then we can reconsider. But for now, this looks good. 2-day had a very good close. How did the 3-day close? 3-day close very good as well. I mean, shit, the 3-day can come all the way back down to 106, just be a little bit of a wick and then work its way up. It looks fine to me, man. We have the golden cross right over here as well, and actually kind of a similar setup to Bitcoin, right? Where Bitcoin has a golden cross on the 3-day time frame. Breaks it to the upside, comes back down and retests it. Well, so is Litecoin, but Litecoin just seems to be a little bit more ahead of the game right now. Could that be because Litecoin's halving date is closer than Bitcoin? Maybe. It would in a way intuitively make sense. But as far as charts go, Litecoin looking a little bit more healthy, actually. We do see 3-day Stokes still pointed up to the sky, so they look completely different than Bitcoin right here. And I'd have to say, Litecoin's overall good. 2-day Stokes are technically down, but looking at price action, these guys want to flip back to the upside, I'd say. And like we said, daily back up as well. So, we have, it's kind of like the odd time frame out, really, is what I'm trying to get at. And of course, looking at the weekly looks very good. Weekly Stokes to the upside, weekly RSI making new highs. And we've just pushed off the red 10 simple. This is very strong price action. We have a full-on bullish posturing, or as much as we can, of these moving averages right here with the red 10 simple above the yellow 21, above the green 50, above the cyan 89. This is, Litecoin wants to go higher. Litecoin does want to go higher. Bitcoin not looking as strong as Litecoin, but the question is, can Litecoin move to the upside while Bitcoin does not move to the upside? And I'd say that's pretty fucking unlikely. It's really unlikely. So if Litecoin is going to break out to the upside, then by nature of it, I'd have to get bullish on Bitcoin. Anyways, one of the other reasons why I do struggle with Bitcoin here, and while I do think it's better to be a little bit defensive, if anything, a little bit more on the defensive minded, is that the weekly does look like a local top. We have a nice massive doji dildo. We do have continuation of the downside. We have taken out the wick of the prior weekly for the first time in 4 months or so. So this is a change of behavior. Not only that, we have stopped pushing the upper 200 bands. You can see that during very strong trends, we push them to the upside right over here. We push them to the downside right over here. Well, on this one, we've been pushing them to the upside for months, and then we've topped out. And now it looks to me like we've actually been rejected from the top 200 band on the weekly. So this has been guiding us up for months now, and to be rejected by this, it's not necessarily the best look on this, and would actually imply a retest back down. At the very least to the 10 simple, but typically actually down to the medium band, which is all the way here, the skid mark colored one. It will be rising up quite rapidly, but it'll be around that 5,500-ish range. The red 10 simple later tonight, when we get the new tick, will be somewhere around the 71 to 7,200-ish range. So we do have another structural thing coming in there, not just the 3-day 200 simple, also the gap on CMEs from 17th of April. If we go back onto a low time frame right over here, hey, that's right on over here. And then of course what we just spoke about on the weekly with the red 10 simple rising up to meet those same levels. So all these things are very important right now. and do kind of align with that area. So if Bitcoin were to break down, I would be looking to be a buyer around this area. Also, you know, at the very least for a nice scalp bounce. Could, you know, does it end up falling over at some point in time? Yeah, maybe, but I do think that we did at the very least have a decent bounce. Also have the 4-hour 200 exponential moving average coming around this range as well on the CMEs, which their chart does seem to get things a little bit better. By the way, looking at the weekly on the CMEs, I mean, that looks like, you know, this looks kind of like a top as well. So my point is if I did have to lean one direction here, I would lean to the downside, but I'm not trading that opinion. I'm trading technical analysis right now, and it's very clear. It's a very, 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 very cut and dry. Do we break below the 200 simple and 200 exponential? Then fuck yeah, I'm taking that short, and I'll be looking, you know, to those lower 7,000s number. If we fail to do so, and you see Bitcoin float back up above 8130, 8150, probably gonna pull a Litecoin. Probably, I mean, we can talk about targets to 8600, but and then 8850, but realistically, it's probably gonna pull a Litecoin if that happens. So again, keep your eyes on Litecoin. I think that Litecoin might be trying to lead here, and we have seen that in the past, and actually in the past market cycle as well. Litecoin did bottom out and move first compared to Bitcoin. Bitcoin followed overall, but Litecoin was the first mover. And again, could that be to do with the halving dates? You know, Litecoin being a little bit sooner than Bitcoin? Yeah, I mean, it's certainly possible. That has been the trend in the past. Anyways, okay, so let's go over here to the 3-day for another second. I'm going to talk a little bit about why I'd want to be a buyer of a dip, and the reason for that is because overall, I do believe that Bitcoin's bottomed out. You know, we've been on the side of Bitcoin bottoming out as the last. You know, the last of the Mohicans, especially after we regained the 3-day 200 simple right over here. But overall, you know, I've been holding these positions for a long time. Just for full transparency, I'm still holding these same positions. 39.30 long, 51.50 long on these Septembers, and I'm basically cash on this position. Like I said, I don't want to play spot, or I don't want to play futures right now. So basically went cash on those positions. But at the end of the day, you know, when we're looking at actual structure for like the super macro, and when we're talking about super macro, we're talking about like a monthly time frame, right? We're talking about this is what we're talking about. We now have uptrends on all time frames up to a monthly. Technically, the monthly is not in a full uptrend yet because we do not have a higher low, but we do have a higher high, and that's probably good enough for me. I do think that's you know, at some point we will come back down and set a higher low, scare the shit out of everyone. But that's going to be a major buying opportunity. That's going to be the next big buying opportunity whenever the monthly sets a higher low. But for right now, oh, it smells weird here. For right now, you know, all time frames in an uptrend. Not only that, but we do see monthly oscillators pointed up and gaining momentum up. This is your monthly Stokes. Did accurately call the bullish momentum in 2014, 2015, and doing the same right over here in 2019. Not only that, and more importantly, actually, the monthly RSI regaining the exponential right over here in 2015, perfectly timing the bullish momentum in this area. And once again, we have actually done the same thing in 2019. So yes, we will come back down and test this exponential at some point in time. But again, that's going to be a major, massive buying opportunity in my opinion. And do we have the monthly jewel crossing? Is that what I see over here? Nope, not quite there just yet. A little bit, not too lacking enough historical data to really populate that well. Let's go down to the weekly now. Yeah, weekly, weekly overall, we do have a full bullish posturing of moving averages. We have the red 10 simple above the yellow 21, above the green 50, above the cyan 89, above the purple 200. So that would be a full-on bullish posturing. That fully confirmed itself 2 weeks ago actually. So again, any sort of a major down, whether it's to, you know, low 7,000s or 5,800 to 6,100. Or maybe even lower than that, but we'll, you know, it's way far away to even be talking about it. Then I'd be a buyer of them. Is kind of my point. Not only that, but going over here to the 3-day, as we spoke about on the 200 simple, you know that we are back above it, and that has been a good historical marker of where we are on the overall phase. We do have a golden cross on the 3-day, as with the 2-day, both happening for the last time in 2014, 2015, and now we're talking about years of price action here, where we actually cross these guys, the green and the purple, to the upside, and that sets the next 3 years of price action to the upside. We don't even come close to crossing those again to the downside until later in 2018. So again, these long-term signals do tell me that needs to be my bias. Not only that, but there's something to be aware of here. The crypto fear and greed index. We had something very interesting happen the last couple days. we fucking nosedived from about a 70 marker to a 27 marker, which would be the lower end. And you know, I kept on forgetting to actually bring this up. I literally I don't know why. I always load it up when I first start the videos, but then I forget to like talk about them for whatever reason. And this guy right here, we did pop back down and get into like the upper 20s and lower 30s for the last couple days. That should have been, if I brought that up, that should have been a very obvious, you know, very obvious buy signal actually. We've actually V-bottomed out of there since yesterday to today. But historically speaking, we got down really, man, you can't even see it here. Yeah, it's not showing it here, but you can see it very obviously in the graph, the chart, where we came down briefly to this area right here. You know, again, the market really overreacting to an area like this, so it does make it difficult for price action to get down. And just like in a bear market, you know, we had the spikes to the upside, which quickly got subsided, right? And then we spent a lot of time in the, you know, in the fearful zone. Well, in a more bullish market, we're going to spend a lot more time comfortable in the bullish zone, and we have these quick spikes down, and these are going to be buying opportunities. And we actually just saw one most likely. So that would also be on the side of Litecoin flipping around bullish. Not only that, but we do see longs and shorts over here. We do see, yeah, a little bit of an imbalance in favor of the longs. 20,000 open longs versus 18 and a quarter open shorts. We got 135 of these guys hedged, so really about 17,000 open naked shorts versus 20,000 open longs. More importantly, that just tells me that we're about to get a big, massive move, and the reason for that is because neither side really has major positions. I mean, looking at longs data on Finex, this is. We're nowhere near extremes to the up. I mean, to being too many people on one side, and same thing for shorts, even less so for shorts, right? So again, all these things need to be taken consideration with each other. But this metric now is something that I just don't put as much weight on as before. Before I used to pay a lot of attention to it. Now not so much. Just hasn't produced the results. Okay, cool. All right, so we spoke about all of that. We haven't really gone through the medium time frames, but let's give them their due diligence. See the 12-hour right here, 12-hour. Not really too much to even report on here. I mean, obviously you could be using the 21 to kind of manage trades to the upside, but looks actually a little bit more droopy. Looks a little bit more droopy to me. What about 4-hour? We do see 4-hour stokes to the downside here. Bitcoin is, but Bitcoin is just consolidating. I don't, you know. You expect to see more movement than this when you're having those sorts of signals. So again, I think that everyone's going to be waiting until we get the actual CMEs trading back again. I do want to bring the attention back to the daily for a second. Just kind of another thing on the side of calling this a likely a top is the historical volatility percentile is absolutely redlining. And this is typically how you put in your highs and your lows in overall markets on major moves, especially on a daily. And we are redlining this bitch pretty hard right now. But you know, again. This is all mental masturbation. The areas to trade off of are extremely clear. White traded symbol to the downside, looking for low 7,000s, and 8130, 8150 the upside, and we're probably gonna be, it's premature to say this, but just going off of the past, I would say likely gonna pull Litecoin. Litecoin looks bullish. Litecoin looks bullish as fuck, I should say, is the technical term for it. Does Bitcoin follow through with it is the real question. Let's go look at the other alts. Let's go look at the other top shitcoins and what they're doing. Mr. Buterol looking a little bit droopy here. Buterol looks a lot more like distribution, but same thing as Bitcoin, right? Until it actually breaks the 200 simple and 200 exponential, these white and purple moving averages, which it has not done in, well, it actually did for a second over here, so it's not as accurate as Bitcoin, which hasn't done it since February. I would say, if that were to happen, I'd be looking for a move into like 210 to 215, but for right now, still holding up above there, so I would not front run it. Yeah, the second that you do see a close below, and especially an open and close below, then yes, I would be looking for that next leg down, as this one can be interpreted a lot more bearishly than the other two, I'd say. By the same token, the magic number for the upside would be right around 251.5. We can get a close above there, then probably going to pull a Litecoin as well. How does the daily look on this one? Yeah, daily looks droopy as well. We spoke about this yesterday, and this is kind of like the same play that we're seeing on Bitcoin today as we saw on Mr. Buterol yesterday. We have this doji low, and then we took out the low of it, and then we accelerate to that 239.5 region. So if you did take that trade, congratulations, good on you. But again, a very easy trade to take, very simple trade. but you know, requires a little bit of patience. Obviously, right here from the daily perspective, this is probably going to come into confluence with if the 4 hour were to break. But if the daily does break below 240 and close the daily little below there, then yes, you know, 220 and 210 are the areas of interest here. We do see daily oscillators. Actually, Stokes getting down there. Daily RSI, it's just a bullish consolidation actually. I mean, it's not anything bad here actually. Weekly's on support. Doesn't look too happy, but it is on support, to be fair. Again, you know, I don't think that this is the cleanest chart. Litecoin is the most obvious chart. Bitcoin a little bit more clean than this one. Butyrol 3-day kind of nasty here too. Again, you can see very obvious resistance right around 251.5. So if 251.5 can be retaken to the upside by the bulls, and yes, I would probably consider that it's going to be it's going to pull a Litecoin and work its way back towards, you know, 290-ish region. But for right now, it's a lot more close to breaking that support. And remember, that's a nice little dip down now, isn't it? About 10%, a little bit more than 10%, 10-15%. If we do break this area. Let's go check out what the other top guys are doing. We got Cardano over here. Cardano looking a little bit droopy, but all these shitcoins look droopy on the lower time frames. Again, working on some sort of a triangle. Do we come back down and test 10-20-ish area? Probably here. But again, I really have a difficult time getting bearish on Cardano, like looking for new lows or anything like that until we actually break like 980 to the downside. And I think it's more likely that we're actually putting in a low here. And this chart goes for most altcoins in this market. They pretty much, most of them look some variation of this, and they're all trying to put in lows. And you know, we can basically make the same formations on them. So I'd like this one to represent just about all of them. There are some more that there are some that are more strong than others. There are some more that there are some that are more weak than others. As I excuse me, I'm very disgusting. I have no manners. Sorry about that. But yeah, overall, you know, putting a nice triangle right over here. The second that we see a breakout above 1080, I'd be looking for a move towards 1250, 1300. Like I said, I think it's a lot more like that. It's trying to put in a low here. It just looks sloppy as fuck, and that's just the way that, you know, a lot of these guys operate. That's just cryptocurrencies, man. BNB Co. What's BNB doing? Looking a little bit more Litecoin-esque, I suppose, but actually, well, no, not so much. Let's go to a 4 hour. Yeah, magic number to the upside, 32.25. Magic number to the downside, however, a little bit more tricky. I mean, if this thing starts breaking back below $31, then yes, we can talk about coming back to $30 even. But the overall, yeah, overall, it's the weekly I want to be aware of right here. How are weekly oscillators doing? I don't have a strong opinion on this one actually. Weekly still coming down. Do we have any divergence here? We do have bearish divergence on the weekly RSI. You know, I really dislike trading against that. 4 hour does look like it wants to come down to me, so I do think that it comes down and tests that like $30 level-ish area, 30.25, and then we'll kind of figure it out from there. Overall, probably gonna do what the rest of the market does. I don't feel too confident. I would feel confident if we do get back above about 32.5 or 32.25, 32.5 bucks. You know, and then I'd be looking for a run back up to 33.5. But for right now, looks like next move wants to come back down and test some supports. Zcash, same thing, 200 exponential right here at 76.77. If you can maintain that, then all good. Kind of looks a little bit more Litecoin-esque, I suppose. Maybe not so much on the daily. Daily looks droopy as fuck. Yeah, man, a lot of these ones are difficult, but weekly, I have a difficult time getting bearish off the weekly. I give this one the benefit of the doubt. You know, we do see some alts that are like obviously trying to, you know, pick it up and reaccumulate. Bcash put in an obvious triangle right over here, and using basically the same levels as Bitcoin, right? We got the 200 simple and 200 exponential. If that area does break, I'd be looking for a move all the way down here towards 344. 335-ish region, actually quite a bit of downside. If we do break out to the upside, any sort of a close above $400, and I'd be looking for another move to 429. Again, is Litecoin foreshadowing the next move? Has Litecoin been the first mover, and all these guys are going to follow? They just look nasty right now. Maybe. I'll still wait for those areas to get taken out. Tron Cash looks like he wants a little bit of down here. Probably, well, kind of already tested that area. Let's go to a 4 hour. Oh man, these ones on a lower time frame are just so sloppy, so fucking sloppy. I don't have an opinion here. I have an opinion on the weekly. Weekly's putting in a base right around 3 spot 1 cent. Probably, and will try to work its way higher from here. So take that as you will. If it does close the weekly below, like anywhere below 3 cents, then yes, I would get bearish on it again. But until that happens, overall fine. Again, sloppy as fuck, but Jesus Christ, man, got to call a spade a spade. Neo, I wouldn't get bearish on it as long as we're above 11 bucks and like 30 cents. If we do lose $11.30, then yep, can get bearish on it. Looking for a move down to 9.20, but again, are things just about to pull a Litecoin? Maybe. EOS, one of the stronger ones in the market as well. Slumping down here, a little bit. Let's see what the 4 hour says. 4 actually has lost the 200 simple. We're not seeing any sort of decisive move here. In fact, looking at the volume, we are still consolidating, is what it tells me. Looking at 4 hour oscillators, we do see them coming down still. Yeah, again, this one magic number to the upside is going to be right here. It's going to be 664. And to the downside, if you want to be conservative, right around here, right around $6. Break that to the downside, looking at 550. Again, going to follow the rest of the market, man. It's going to follow the rest of the market. Ripple actually just creating some higher lows. I think that this one's okay. I think this one's generally okay. Trying to put a nice little formation here. Well, if you're going on a daily, it's a little bit more of it's a little bit more triangular. But again, we have the golden cross and we are above the yellow 21 as of the current moment in time. My rule is I'm not bearish on anything that looks like that. If Ripple does break below 40 cents, then yes, I'd be bearish for a move back down to 38 cents. So a nice little, what is that, like a 10-20% move there? No, maybe 5% move. By the same token, if this baby breaks back above 42 cents, then yes, I do think that it gives another stab to the top of the range and probably does break it on and move its way towards 52 cents. So again, last one over here. We got Monero and Stellar. Monero looks droopy. Monero does look droopy, to be fair. But again, does this one lead? Not typically, no. I do think that it comes back down and tests 85 bucks, but that's the magic number. It needs to hold 85 on a 4 hour. Otherwise, probably down to $80 even. Until that to the upside though, a little bit more nice. If we can move, if we can work our way back above 88.31, then I'll be looking for a move over towards 94. Stellar doing same thing as Ripple pretty much. Holding on to the 200 simple and 200 exponential, doing it as long as it maintains 12.25. Kind of a buying opportunity actually. Daily doesn't look as promising. Weekly not as promising either. Again, I'd give the nod to the rest of the market here. Litecoin obviously bullish, but other ones, Bitcoin still sets the overall pace. This is the area to watch right here. This is what I'd be doing. This is pretty much all. If I had to synthesize my thoughts down into just a few sentences, hey, keep your eyes on the white 200 simple on the 4 hour. We break that area, and yes, I would be looking for moves. Ultimately down to the lower 7,000, 7,100 to 70 Jordan becomes extremely likely. Yes, probably does have a bounce of like 75, maybe 75, whatever it ends up being, somewhere in that medium range. But overall, I would be looking for that downside. By the same token, if we do see 8150 regain to the upside, then I think that we're going to see a Litecoin pulled, and this baby works our way all the way back up towards. We can talk about targets once again towards 86, 88, but towards prior highs and probably beyond. So again, it's a little bit of a waiting game here. We haven't really seen all that much conclusiveness. The only thing that's been conclusive is Litecoin, but is the rest of the market ready to follow just yet? I still think it's a little bit premature to be calling it. So I'd be going off those pivots within this range right here. Absolutely no trade zone as far as I'm concerned. Looking at, again, 4 hour metrics, we do see 4 hour Stokes coming down, so a little bit more bearish on that. 6 hour Stokes can be crossing down as well. Usually don't like to trade against both those on the same, on the same go, and I believe hourly is actually up right now. Usually when all three of those ones match up, or even when just two of them match up, it's usually a nice move. But for now, we're only seeing two. So yes, do we have another test of 77.50 first? Yeah, probably. Probably, but remember, it's not until a 4-hour it'll close below. It needs to close below. Then I'd be comfortable with getting a little, actually like bearish for like, 10% move or more. Anyways, that's going to do it for this morning. I do want to wish you well on this lovely little Sunday morning. Start to your day, start to the end of your relaxing weekend. But it doesn't matter because cryptocurrency doesn't sleep anyways. So there is no time for relaxation. It's all just this electricity. Anyways, take care. See you soon, and goodbye.